Hello everyone, welcome to the series of C programming. In this video, I'll be talking about the basic structure of C program, which is quite significant for writing codes and programs. You may ask, why this is important for us? To illustrate this, let's consider an example. We all have seen a grown-up tree, but have you ever considered what it germinates from? The seed, exactly. Likewise, the seed of our C program is its basic structure, which let us code thousands of programs and softwares. So without any further delay, let's start. Basic structure of C program contains a few sections. Those sections are documentation section, link section, definition section, global declaration section, main function section, and subprogram section. I'm gonna give you a brief introduction of each of them. So the first and foremost section, which lies at the top, is documentation section. In this section, you can put the details of program or programmer, write short description of what you have written inside the program, or what's your purpose of writing such program, and so on as a comment. Next section is link section. Inside this section, you have to include header files like studio.h, conio.h, string.h, etc. from system library of C program using #include directive and putting them within Angular braces. I'll talk about these header files whenever we use them in our program. So link section is quite significant, and one header file must be included before directly writing the codes, because header files are those files which have been coded by programmer and consist of various functions which we use in our program. While coding, you may require several functions. You can directly get access to those functions by simply including the header files in which the functions are defined. If you don't include the header files of the functions you use in your program, you won't get the desired output, or simply the compiler throws a bug or error. So that's why you must include at least one header file inside the link function so you can start writing C program or code. Moving on, we have definition section, in which you can just define the symbolic constants like define pi 3.141, define full marks 100, define a score 200, etc. You can directly get access to these values of variables like pi, full marks, a score anywhere within your program. Likewise, the next section we have is global declaration section. Before knowing this section, you have to be familiar with global and local variables. Let me help you with that. Global variable is that variable which is declared outside the function and whose values can be accessible inside any functions, whereas local variable is that variable which is declared inside a function, and the accessibility of value of such a variable is confined to that function in which it is defined. Its value can't be accessed inside any other function. For example, suppose you declared int num variable inside function 1, then you can't get access to this variable except function 1. But instead, if you declared the same variable outside the function, then you can use it inside any function. So that's the difference between global and local variable. So here within global declaration section, global variables such as int val, float, area, etc. are defined, and they remain accessible to all the functions used in the program. Next one is main function section. Every C program must have at least one main function section, because this is the function within which the declaration and executable part, or simply main part of the program, is written. The declaration and executable parts are just the codes you write inside the curly braces of main functions. While writing the code, you must be very careful to terminate every single line of executable code by a semicolon at the end. Moving on, we have the final section of C program, which is subprogram section. Inside this section, various user-defined functions are written. What did I mean by user-defined functions? To illustrate this, suppose you want to add two numbers by defining your own function. Then the function you define for such calculation is called user-defined function, because such type of functions are not predefined in system library of C programming language. However, users define them for their specific task. I'll talk about these functions in details in my later video. So these are the sections of basic structure of C program. I've tried my best to help you understand these sections and hope you have got the clear idea of basic structure of C program. If you like the video, subscribe to my channel Easy Coding and hit the bell icon to get notified for my upcoming videos.